Oh, God, Tom, what did you do?
Don't worry about it.
Tom hit himself in the face with the microphone. I had to drink a little bit of my pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse.
My pamplemousse. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Half Hour Happy Hour with Alison and Alex. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Alison Haislip, and for the next 30-ish minutes, Alex and I are going to talk about stuff.
Yes, and we brought along on this little adventure of ourselves.
Adventure of ourselves?
It's an adventure of
ourselves. That sounds like we're figuring out how to masturbate. Let's have an adventure with ourselves.
Your body and you.
That could be an amazing weekend. Is Mr. Tom Krajewski. How you doing there, Tom?
Good. How you doing?
Hey,
Thanks
Tom.
for having me. Hey, here we are.
Super volcano ready to erupt in sidekickery.
Let's do it.
Sidekickery. Sidekickery.
How's everybody doing?
Good. Can we talk about the fact that, every week the three of us send around group texts to each other
Yeah. we can definitely talk about this one.
to set up what time we're going to record this podcast. And this, Alex had BlizzCon this weekend, which we'll obviously
let's talk about that right
Yeah,
now.
we will
but
talk
first,
about that right now.
We're going to talk
Get into
about
it.
how we couldn't record until Sunday of this week because Alex had
true.
BlizzCon, but I was like, I have a Giants game. Why don't we record as soon as I'm done with my Giants game around 4:30? And Tom goes, great. I'll be done hardcore fucking my wife by then.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you said.
Someone got a hold of my phone and typed it. I didn't. I would never.
The cat laid on my phone and just happened to come out with that.
I'm not even married.
Yeah.
I've never even been with a woman.
I hope Jen doesn't listen to this.
She doesn't. She doesn't even know I'm on this podcast.
She just comes back, and you come back from home, and you're like, where were you? I was just out. Okay.
All right, cool.
She really
All right.
doesn't care what I do.
More importantly, Alex, tell us about BlizzCon.
BlizzCon was crazy, super fun. So for those of you who don't know, I had the opportunity to host BlizzCon's virtual ticket
Nice.
content, which a couple things that I didn't know about the virtual ticket content.
Yep. You didn't know anything before when you told us about it earlier.
Yeah.
You made a lot of stuff up.
Did I? I probably did.
Yeah.
Because first off, a lot of the stuff was made up until we were live from the BlizzCon floor.
Oh, there
It
you
was
go.
very fluid. Let's just call it that.
Okay.
It ended up being a superb production.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize this. So have you ever been to BlizzCon?
I have not, no.
Okay. So BlizzCon is gigantic.
Yeah.
It's at the Anaheim Convention Center, fully sold out.
Yeah.
And they take over the entire Anaheim Convention Center and basically every hotel leading up to the Anaheim Convention Center.
Right.
Did you just wink at me, or you
No,
got
I'm getting
something in your
something out of my eye.
Okay.
I will at you.
It was very, very sexy. I was like, yeah, interesting.
That was sexy? Wow, man. I got to get stuff out of my eye more often.
you should.
Maybe I wouldn't be single.
Yeah. You're like just walk into a bar and poke yourself in the eye. And you're like,
Men
guys.
just flock
yeah.
to me.
They're like, hey, that lady's cute and has an eye problem. So anyway,
Score.
it's massive, huge, and it's like 26,000 or 27,000 people. And at the beginning is this opening ceremony, and so it's all spread out at the whole convention center.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of it is the BlizzCon virtual ticket booth.
Oh, so where you are. You're right smack dab in the middle.
Right smack dab in the middle.
Cool.
Big table. We had a little desk, all that stuff.
Yeah, like from the
5
pictures I
cameras.
saw, it looks like you guys are hosting like Sports Center or
Yeah,
something.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
funny. It is basically done like that because it has been done since 2008 by DirecTV.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all the DirecTV sports people putting on this event.
yeah.
So it was really kind of interesting. It was an interesting dynamic because there was a lot of the producers kind of looking to. I hosted it with Michelle Morrow and Malik Forte.
Yep.
And a lot of times the producers were sort of looking to us as Blizzard fans to being like, what should we cover?
Do you like this?
Yeah, like how should we cover it? I think it was Michelle's initial idea, but basically from us hosts, we were like, this is very stale. Like, this is a desk. This looks like ESPN Sports Center. Like, this
Right.
is not how we should be doing this. We should have, like, a side area that's way more casual. And so we came up with the idea of doing this Blizz Couch, is what we called it.
Blizz Couch.
And
I
so
love
we actually,
it.
so they had like in the stage, they figured out how, because there's enough room, they were like, we could have the main desk, quote
Yeah.
unquote, and that which looks really professional and slick, and it feels like a real production.
Right.
And then on the side, there were these 2 couches that was very casual, and we had a lot of people that we interviewed came and sat at the Blizz Couch, and it turned out to be this really
nice.
fun thing. And right when we started, of course, because we're in the middle of things, Frank Pierce, who's one of the co-founders, we were going to be interviewing at the desk. And he walked up and saw us at the couch and was like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. And he was like, "Oh, I love this new couch." And he was like, "Is this where you're interviewing me?" And we were like, "Well, no, you're gonna be at the desk."
Aww.
And he was like, "Oh, that's lame." And so then we switched it and put him at the Blizz
We'll put you
couch.
on the
We were like,
couch.
"We'll put you on the couch. You are the
You
co-founder
get the couch,
of Blizzard."
Frank.
Yeah. So anyway, but what they didn't let us know. And Michelle did warn me about this,
Okay.
but it didn't sink in because she warned me like 2 months ago, and then I sort
Right.
of never reminded me.
Yeah, and you forgot.
So essentially, the way that it works is BlizzCon's doors open at like 9:30,
Okay.
and a swarm of people, all 27,000.
The running of the nerds.
It is literally the running of the nerds. Flood in. Even more so than Comic-Con.
Really?
Yes, and here's why. Because when they do it at Comic-Con, they can go everywhere. And they
Right.
want to go everywhere. But at BlizzCon, everybody's trying to go get seats in Hall D for opening ceremony.
Oh.
So they literally release the hounds, and they all beeline
the
it.
hounds all go.
All of them go, and some people can't. Like, there's only 12,000 seats there.
Did you get trampled?
So no, we were up
By the way,
watching this.
Only 12,000? That's
I
a
know.
lot of... That's
Yeah,
a lot of thousands.
Yeah, but there's 27,000 people that want
Yeah.
to be in there, and there's only 12,000 seats.
There's only... Wait, BlizzCon only gets 27,000 people?
Well, how
Well,
big
it's
is
because
the convention?
the convention center isn't as big as the San Diego as
Yeah, I
San Diego
guess.
Convention Center, right? And
Yeah.
Comic-Con is, so it could be a fourth the size, and that's a fourth the number of people. About
no,
right?
it's
Isn't
not.
it like
That's a
100,000
tenth.
people?
No, Comic-Con gets like 250,000 people.
What?
Well, that's
I don't
interesting.
Yeah.
remember them holding that.
Comic-Con's...
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so here's the thing.
That might be just how many people descend on downtown San Diego.
that could be true because a lot of people
Yeah.
show up to do the ancillary stuff.
Yes.
But so that's like crammed in, and they keep it very open because it doesn't feel like, with Comic-Con where you like can't really walk.
Oh, I know. It drives me crazy.
It's not like that. Every
Oh.
place, there's lots of people, but it's like lots of people going to these specific places, like opening ceremony to watch it. Anyway, long story long, the thing that she didn't tell me was we went live at 10:30.
Right.
The opening ceremony is at 11.
Okay.
Well, we went live, and it was like 3. They're counting me in and doing all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, and I'm supposed to do this like voiceover over the thing to call them in. This is
Yep.
great. So I go, we're here live. All of a sudden, my voice is going throughout the entire fucking convention center.
That happened to me when I did BattleBots.
It's
the very first
entire
interview I
convention
did.
center.
I started talking, and I was like, "Oh, my voice is being broadcast to the whole stadium."
Yes. Yes.
You forget to register that you're
Yes.
going to hear your own voice.
Yes.
Wow.
It makes it so different.
Yes, and even more so, it was projected on all of the screens throughout the entire convention
That's
center,
awesome.
including
Wow.
Hall D, where everybody's sitting for the next half an hour waiting for opening ceremony.
Yes.
And so at one point we did these what they called live looks into Hall D, where they actually show Hall D, and I'm like, we're going to take a live look at Hall D. Everybody's, sitting in anticipation of opening ceremony. We're 15 minutes away. And as I say, we're taking a live look at Hall D, out of the, I
you
start
hear
hearing
Hall
them go,
D?
yeah, and start screaming, and I was like, oh my God, they can hear me in Hall D. Like, so then it becomes this whole weird, awkward thing where it was, I was sort of nervous enough to be going out to however many millions of people were watching the virtual ticket.
Right.
But the fact that there was now 27,000 people just sort of
Watching
near,
you.
like watching me on a giant screen, it was really weird.
Your dream
Oh,
come true.
yeah.
Yeah, it was actually really, it ended up being
That's
really
really-
freaking
yeah.
fun.
That is cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite thing you took away from BlizzCon?
I mean, I can't.
Did you just become a white girl?
Can't even.
I can't even.
my God.
Oh my God. No, I mean, it was so much. It was just so much awesomeness.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like
I
all
will
the games.
say-
Everything was fun.
Overwatch looks freaking amazing.
It's super fun.
I love that Blizzard is like, hey, we're only going to release a new game once every 2 years or whatever they do.
Yeah.
But every game is completely different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they just announced that they crossed the 40 million downloads mark on Hearthstone.
Oh, wow.
40 million people playing Hearthstone.
And Overwatch is going to be on multiple platforms, right? It's not just PC.
yeah, they just. It's so funny that you're asking me this, and I'm starting to sweat because of all the PR stuff that I've known. I've known this for a long time.
Oh.
All this information that I could not tell people. So yes.
Oh, wow.
So I was just about to say, yes, they've announced that it's coming to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and the PC at day and date same time. But then I was like, I can't say that. I can't say. I was been so programmed to not say the things. But now that it's done, it's crazy.
You can say it all.
Like you have to
that's
study,
the other,
right?
so that's the other thing is
this is work for you.
It was
this
a
is
lot
not
of
just
work.
hosting. You have to actually
yeah, because at the end of the day,
I like that you think that just hosting is not work.
he's like, isn't this what I'm doing right now? A waka waka.
Isn't all hosting sitting in a garage drinking and sweating? Because it's pretty easy.
Oh, Tom.
It's pretty easy.
Oh, Tom, if you only
But I'm
knew.
just saying.
No,
to
it was
have
the
to
most.
know-
Yeah, it was sort of the most amount of pre-work that I've had to do for hosting anything because I spent hours and hours and hours going through the debriefs of all the different things and trying to figure it out and talking to the different people at Blizzard. We went down to the Blizzard campus a couple days.
Cool, man.
Spent hanging out with everybody. I mean, it was really intense, but it was really funny. And then the weird thing is, and I mean, I'm sure you've had this experience doing live stuff.
I'm sure.
Which is like you're so jazzed and excited and you're prepping and you're thinking about it and it's all you can think about and it starts and you blink and it's over.
Oh, yeah. But that's why I love live television.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what I told, because Malik hadn't done a lot of live stuff and he was sort of like, I can't remember what we were talking about, but I go, here's the thing that you got to realize, Malik, the cameras go on, we do our segment, and then we're done. That's it.
We're done.
That's it. It exists. And by the way, there's no wrong way to do that.
Oh.
Right.
There's no wrong way to do that because nobody looks at it and goes, "Wait a minute, he flubbed that line. He should go back and like."
Yeah.
It's almost like why I like improv.
The only wrong way to do it is to stop yourself because you feel like you screwed up.
Right. Oh, of course.
That was my biggest thing. Like the first time I went live on Attack of the Show on G4.
Yeah.
Because that was my first experience with live television. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And I was reading the feed and I was like, what if I screw up a line? Like, I was so nervous. And like the first, I don't know, maybe a week or two that I was doing it, I was like losing my shit. And then finally one day I fucked something up. I like flipped a word. It wasn't even noticeable.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, it was like how we talk here. I just went like blah blah blah. I mean blah 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 blah, and no one bats an eye.
Yeah.
And as soon as I realized that, I was like,
It's
oh, okay.
freeing.
And like you have the moment of going, people want to watch that.
Yeah.
People want to watch the flubs because you're human then.
Right.
And
yeah.
that's the excitement of live TV. They don't hold the flubs against you.
No.
It just makes them go, oh, I'm actually a part of this right now.
Yeah. Well, and we were doing Twitter questions too. I mean, it was really an amazing experience. We had a blast. It was super fun. Everybody at Blizzard loved it. We loved it. We had a great time. I mean, it was one of those things that I know in the next couple weeks I'm going to have this horrible sort of weird withdrawal feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Not thinking that it's
Dude,
an
I have it
impending
I can't
thing.
believe you're not having it right now.
Well, I kind of woke up kind of fucked up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm still sort of like, because that's the other thing. It was over 10 hours for 2 days.
That's insane.
Every day for 2 days. So we went live
Every day
Every day.
for 2 days.
A week long.
Wow.
But like we went live the first day at 10:30 a.m. and we didn't sign off until 8:30
Wow.
p.m. And then we went
That's a
live the
long
next
day.
day at 10 a.m. and we didn't sign off until 8:40.
Wow.
And so that's a lot of, we're just always thinking about it. And
Yeah.
constantly. And the other thing that's really weird, I'm going to do a quick little overshare, which is in the morning,
Yeah.
especially when I'm working and I'm trying to make sure, I'm going to work for the day.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, I feel like there's like this chemical balance in my body between caffeine, coffee, and water.
Yes.
And it's a precise mix,
Yeah.
and I don't know what the ratio is. I just try to sort of keep it balanced. So what ends up happening is I pee like 7 times before noon,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We were live,
So you can't pee.
and by the way, hardwired.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
You weren't wireless?
No, we were not.
Oh.
I had a hardwired IFB, which is the ear monitor,
Yeah.
and a hardwired headphones, like mic.
Yeah.
And so literally I was constantly in the state of making sure I was prepared for whatever the fuck we were about to do,
Yep.
making sure I had topped off my urine issue.
Yeah.
And by the way, we were getting thrown back, like we were getting tossed back from panels that were kind of ending around 12, but they could end like one of the panels. We were sitting at the couch, and I was watching the panel because we can watch the panel because
Yep.
we're also going to be talking about the panel, so we have to
Right.
watch.
You have to watch the
panel. So it's not like
so
we
you
can just
can't
go
like
fuck off for an
escape.
hour.
Yeah.
You can kind of go pee and come back and be like, what did they just say? You know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't want to miss the big moment to be able to talk about it. And most of the time we'd be interviewing a person about the game that they just did all the panels, so we'd have deeper questions to go into.
Right.
But we were watching this panel. I think it was a Hearthstone panel, and and literally the guy like waves, and we are like 20 minutes before we're supposed to go live.
Oh, wow.
And the guy just sort of gives this wave and was like, thank you guys so much. That's all for, League of Explorers. And he starts to walk off. And I'm looking at the thing. And Michelle, thankfully, we were both at the desk and mic'd, but she was being mic'd. Like, they were putting her mic on her.
Wow.
And doing her makeup. Like, because we had 20 minutes. We were all just sort of like looking at shit and all that stuff. And I'm just looking at it. And all of a sudden, the slide comes up and says, thank you. And, like, everybody leaves the stage. And I go, oh, I think they're done. I was like, I don't think that nobody else is coming back onto that panel. Like, I think that was the it. And Michelle looks over and she's like, what? And all of a sudden, on the IFB, I hear, okay, guys, we're going to go to you in 10 seconds. And we were like, and we had this, like, 15-minute block that we had, which then became a 35-minute block.
And you just had a bullshit.
And literally, I was like, go. I was like, get. And the makeup lady, because they don't know. They can't hear.
Oh, they don't have IFBs.
And so I was the only one that heard that we were going to go live in 10 seconds. And and then the DirecTV panel comes up because it's pay-per-view on DirecTV as well.
Right.
So the DirecTV, like, billboard comes up, which is like, I know where the next thing.
The next thing,
The next thing is cut to the camera.
Run!
Wow.
And so everybody scatters.
Ladies, run!
Everybody scatters. And then they cut to us, and I'm like, wow, great panel. And then I was just like, so what do you think? And we kind of just BS about the Hearthstone thing.
Yeah.
And then in the ear, the guys are just sort of like, okay, we're going to do this package. And I'm like, this is not what we're supposed to be doing right now. And so they just throw up copy in the thing, and I'm like, well, and I'm literally just cold reading the stuff in the copy. And then
that's
tossing.
my favorite shit, though. That's why I love live.
I love that. That is the stuff that makes it so exciting.
Give me that kind of stress.
Yeah,
cool.
It's so much fun. Anyway, so it was fun. So I had to manage my urine.
You had to manage.
Was the big takeaway?
Was the takeaway from BlizzCon? Got it.
Good.
Should we read some fan emails?
Yeah.
Let's read a fan email. I like this one. It's called subject is Death Lottery.
Death Lottery.
That sounds terrible.
From Kevin Gilmore.
All right,
Dear
Kevin
Alex,
is Kevin Gilmore a Gilmore Girl?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe
Could be.
I'll ask him.
It's 2015. Kevin, don't
Do
judge.
whatever you want.
I mean,
Don't judge.
Alex. You're Alex. Whatever.
Dear Alex, Allison, I miss G4, and Super Volcano Tom.
I missed G4 too.
There you go.
When you guys were talking about population control on Monday's podcast, Alex almost perfectly described an episode of Sliders from 1995.
What was Sliders?
Jerry
You don't remember
O'Connell's
Sliders? Where they go
What?
through. They have
Jerry who?
Jerry O'Connor.
Oh, who I always mix up your friend Jerry with.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
We'll call him Other Jerry.
Other Jerry.
Yeah. So Other Jerry had a TV show in the 90s.
Did it only last one season? Because isn't he only on shows that only last one season?
It was like 3 seasons, but it was very sort of like Firefly-esque, where it's like it has like cult following and all stuff, and
Got
it
it.
was sort of CW and Sci-Fi Channel before CW and Sci-Fi Channel were those things.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept was that this doctor opened a portal to a parallel universe.
To parallel universes.
Ooh.
A single one, then they fell into it, and so they were constantly sliding. It was basically like Quantum Leap. It was a little bit like Quantum Leap.
Well, Quantum Leap, didn't he jump in other bodies?
Yeah, it was. Quantum Leap was sort of through time, where he had to sort of figure out how to get out of it, and then he would get out of it. Sliders was sort of that concept, but through parallel universes.
Okay, got it.
So they would sometimes see themselves from parallel worlds. It was super fun. But anyway, in this world,
Back to Kevin's email.
you can withdraw as much money as you want from the ATMs, but every dollar is an entry into the lottery.
Death Lottery.
This is genius. This is freaking genius.
Oh my gosh.
If you win, you get a card that you can use to buy whatever you want for 1 week. Oh my gosh. Then they euthanize you.
Wow, that's cool.
The episode goes more in depth on population control and how it frees up resources for everyone else. So it's an otherwise utopian society. Thought you may find it interesting. Keep up the great work. My coworkers have gotten used to me laughing out loud while listening to the podcast. Kevin,
All right.
Tell your coworkers to listen to the podcast, Kevin.
Yeah, bring
They
some
should be
speakers
laughing
into work.
too.
Yeah, play
Make
that
it
shit
easy.
live.
That is an amazing concept.
That is such a that's freaky. What would you
it's like,
do?
well, that's the thing. It's like you could just live homeless for the rest of your life without having to worry about it, or live like a king.
Or the thing is like, if you could buy whatever you wanted for a week, you could just set your family up for the rest of their lives.
God,
yeah.
that's smart. Then they
Right?
wouldn't have to enter the
they
lottery.
wouldn't have to enter the lottery.
Oh my
Smart
god!
thinking. Allison.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez,
That's the smartest thing you've ever said.
Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
It's a really smart.
Look, we're super popular.
I was valedictorian in my high school.
We're super popular.
I really hope I said
Bravo.
other smart things.
Were you a nerd in high school?
Oh, I was such a
Really?
nerd. Are you kidding me? I was like, no, I literally was like top of my class. Like people would want to cheat off my tests and be my lab partners and stuff like that.
But you weren't cool then, so you were like a nerd, like
yeah, no, I was a nerd. Although weirdly, like I feel like people have revisionist history now.
Oh yeah,
you know, because there was a time like this is probably I don't know. This is a few years back, but I was home. This is when my parents still lived in Jersey, so I was home in Jersey and around people that I went to high school with. And I remember hanging out. There was like a group of us who got together, but there were some random people who like we weren't like super good friends in high school. But I went to a small enough school that we all knew each other. And this guy was, we were talking about like high school and like reminiscing over weird memories and stuff like that. And this guy was like, well, I mean, Allison, you were like one of the popular kids. What do you think? And I went, what? So either I was unaware that I was really popular and lived all those years of my life in massive insecurity for no reason whatsoever, or I like, you know, when you're out of the situation, you don't see people the same way. And now I'm just a normal, cool human being. So this person assumes that I must have been a popular person in high school.
That definitely is one of those things that I think you're right about.
Right? Revisionist history? Yeah.
Where they're like, nah, they like think back fondly on high school and they were like, if you were back there, you'd realize it was really shitty.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? They just sort of blocked it out, which I totally get.
Yeah,
Just being like, fuck that. All right, well, let's get into some stories. But first, I have to say that I have to read this. Is
this another email?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Who's it from?
It's The Not So Friendly Skies.
Oh, no.
By Chris Ayers, I guess it is.
Chris, how fitting that his last name is Ayers and he's talking about airlines.
Hey, guys, inspired by your story on the American Airlines attempt to revoke lifetime passes owned by certain individuals, I created this movie poster. I hope you like it.
What's the movie poster?
It says, so the tagline is, one airline's costly mistake became 66 lucky people's ticket to freedom until a bounty was placed on their lives.
Oh, yeah, that's what I said they should do.
Now, two are fighting back.
Oh, yes! Is it a buddy cop movie?
It's The Not So Friendly Skies, starring Alison Haislip and Alex Albrecht, a Tom Krajewski film, in theaters this Drunksmith, rated SP for super popular.
Oh, my gosh! Wait, what are these pictures?
That is brilliant.
Oh my gosh, this
awesome.
is amazing! I totally look like the crazy sidekick.
This Drunksmith.
Oh my gosh!
A Tom Krajewski film.
Alex, I know you forget to do everything we're going to say we do on this podcast.
We'll put it on as the Twitter background or whatever.
Or just tweet it out so people can see
we'll definitely
it.
tweet it out.
That's a great. Oh, that's awesome.
My gosh.
You got to show it to
Tom. And there's like the Statue of Liberty and Big Ben and passports and credit cards.
All sorts of flying imagery.
And SP, did you see the SP?
Oh my god.
Rated super popular.
Rated super popular. That's so
That is
rad.
amazing.
How great is that?
Amazing.
Oh
my
gosh.
gosh.
I saw that and I was like,
it.
oh, I gotta show you guys.
How old are those
Love
pictures? I wonder.
Mine's pretty old.
Mine's only maybe a year.
I haven't gotten like a headshot done in a while. Anyway, thanks for the emails, guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's
Should we
get
do a
into
story?
let's get into
Or
some
4?
stories,
Yeah,
or
you're 24
two,
minutes in.
We're at 24 minutes. Oh, come on.
or two,
Well,
or
let's get into
1.5.
some quick stories.
Oh, just some quick stories. Yeah, we
Read
got
some stories, Alex.
Dorms for grown-ups.
Oh, good God.
about
A solution for lonely millennials.
I thought you were going to say molesters. This is already
Lonely
going
molesters?
poorly.
Actually, I that would probably be great if you just put molesters all in one building and they could just molest each other. And they were like, "Oh, I guess I'm Friday."
This
no
this
fun
is
if
so
you're
sad.
molesting.
Well, that's
Just
what I'm
so
saying. It's just
sad.
like some creepy,
Anyways,
some
I
creepy.
feel like if they molest each other, it's not molestation.
That's what I'm saying.
It's consensual.
Yeah, but
So
you got to
what?
just
But
convince
then
them
they-
it's molesting, and then they'll
Oh,
be... Anyway,
weird.
this is
Okay.
horrible. Okay, in a new model of living, residents will have their own micro-units built around a shared living space for cooking, eating, and hanging out.
Fuck that shit.
So here it is. It started in Syracuse, right?
Oh.
In
so they
Syracuse?
had, because this guy created a sort of co-working space. So you know all those like art, like co-working spaces that you can rent. Like you can rent a desk in a space for
Yes.
startups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this guy created one of those in Syracuse.
Okay.
And then he decided there are a lot of people who are sort of like these millennials who live on their own. They don't really socialize.
Are millennials like people in their 20s?
Yeah.
Is that what makes a millennial?
I think so. I don't know. Basically, just think fresh out of college people.
Okay.
I think that's what they mean by millennials is fresh out of college people.
Okay.
But
that's people in their 20s.
Yeah.
Right.
But so this guy was like noticing that there were people who would sort of like be at work, but they're in these co-work spaces, right? So they're not like working at a company where other people are co-workers.
Right.
They're just working in spatial relationship
it's like
with other
parallel
people.
play, but
right.
with work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And so what he decided was that these people were just going off and getting these like one-bedroom apartments and just living over there by themselves, and they're coming out of college, and he said, wait a minute, I can cash in on this coming out of college thing, basically make a half step from college to real life.
Right.
So he took the 2 top floors of this co-work space, and he's making these micro units, so they're 300 square foot. That they got a little bit of living space. Basically, it's just a bedroom and a little kitchenette with a bathroom. So they're all got
you have your own bathroom?
Yeah, own bathroom.
Okay, that helps.
But then there's giant community spaces with gourmet
full
chef's
kitchen.
kitchens.
So he made a retirement home for young people.
He made a retirement home.
Oh
for
my
fucking
gosh,
young
that's
people.
exactly what it
exactly
is.
what it is.
They-
And not only that, they've hired 2 social engineers whose jobs is to put on events for everybody in the to even commune more.
Oh my gosh,
Nurses.
It's a retirement
nurses.
home for young people.
It is literally a
I
pre-retirement
think that would be
home.
awesome because I like having roommates a lot. Like it's fun, man.
Yeah.
I would totally do that. Well, so what
Interesting.
happened? Did it like actually?
They hasn't. I don't think it's come
He
out. I
wants to
think
do
they're
this.
work. No, well, they're building it right
That's
now.
cool. It's a great idea.
It's calling it a common space.
Yeah.
Common
Oh,
space
yeah,
is
the
the
common
name of
space,
it.
yeah.
He doesn't like the word dorm.
Let's do it.
shocker.
Let's sign up for this. Us 3.
No, this story makes me happy
Living
I'm not in my
together?
early 20s anymore.
I know, right?
Yes, I would not want to live in that. I
First
mean, I
off-
do think it's pretty genius, but not for me.
Well, but also, let's just go out on a limb here and
Okay.
say people are having a hard time finding places to frickin' live.
Especially if you're a
Yeah.
millennial, you're not getting jobs anymore.
LA, New York, San Francisco, especially. Like, it is impossible.
Expensive.
It's
But like,
so expensive.
everyone's obviously going to have sex with each other in those things.
That's why I want.
He's like, oh yeah, a bunch of 20-something kids.
They
Yeah.
let
Oh,
38-year-old guys in there too, right? You know those 20-year-olds.
I don't.
gosh.
There's no age limit. You could be one of the social engineers.
Yay!
Oh, my mustache. Yes.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
hi, I'm Tom Super Volcano.
For the record,
Krajewski.
Tom does not have a mustache.
I will be your social
I will.
engineer for the evening. Please
For the
remove your
next 2
pants.
minutes.
Please remove your pants and come into my room one at a
Yeah.
time.
We're all gonna play hide the bingo.
Hide the bingo?
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about
What?
science.
No,
let's
let's
talk about science.
what
Let's talk
hide
about
the-
science.
We got
What's the
another-
hide the bingo?
It's science.
We'll
It's a
show you
science
when we
term.
get into the common things.
Common space.
Okay, what about this next thing?
All right, so
Yes.
NASA is now hiring astronauts to
Yep.
head up Mars missions. So the applications are opening up December 14th
Oh,
for
okay.
new astronauts.
To fly to
Wait,
Mars.
so they're not
Wow.
hiring astronauts. They're hiring people to become astronauts.
Well-
They're not like looking at the astronaut pool that they already have and saying, hey,
No.
you guys apply.
They are hiring people to become astronauts.
yeah.
And one of the things that
Because you
they
don't
say,
become an astronaut until you're in space.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I see.
What do you call an astronaut who's about to go into space?
Not an astronaut.
That's the full title.
Yeah.
Not an astronaut.
No, you
Hi, I'm Jim,
you
not an
are,
astronaut.
You
I'm
are by
failed.
definition not an astronaut until you break some sort of
So
height
So you're
requirement.
Height requirement.
You're a failure
What is that,
until
like
you
5'8", 5'9"?
yeah.
So you're basically
So that's my point.
the worst astronaut until you leave the planet.
Yeah, but so that's my point. They're not hiring astronauts; they're hiring new candidates to become
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
astronauts to go to Mars.
Technically,
So-
they are hiring people to
Yes.
potentially become astronauts. However, one of the things that they say, here are the things that you are being hired to potentially do is deep
Die.
space long travel to Mars.
How
Yes.
long does that take, by the way, to get to Mars?
I don't know.
I think it's like a year and a half.
Is it really that
I mean-
easy?
Yeah, it's not that
how
far. Maybe
long?
2.5 years. Wait, I'm trying to think of The Martian. It took.
I love you. Like, wait a minute. Let me think back to the
think back to
fictional
The Martian.
Hollywood movie, The Martian. It says 6 months.
Six months?
It says, the answer, according to NASA, a vessel with humans on it would take roughly 6 months to travel to Mars.
Wow.
And another 6 months to travel back from Mars.
Oh,
This seems like not that
like
much.
why haven't we done
Yeah.
this sooner?
The return trip. All in, the mission would take roughly 2.5 years.
Oh, that must be it. The whole trip is 2.5 years.
Well, they said in addition, the astronauts would have to stay 18 to 20 months on Mars before the planet's realigned for a return trip.
Oh, yeah, because that's the fucked up shit.
So that's...
Because there's a point when Earth and Mars are on opposite sides of the sun.
Right.
Of the
and
ovals.
then it's too far away. Of the ovals, yes.
Another smart thing
orbits.
Allison said tonight. I didn't know that.
I'm
That's
so
pretty
intelligent.
Bam! You're
That's
super
really cool.
science right
what?
now.
It's because I've had 2 shots of Jameson and a glass of white wine.
Where'd you have the Jameson?
Bring
And
it.
why didn't you give us
I was
any?
watching the Giants game before I
yeah.
came here.
And
Whatever.
Giants stand for Jameson.
No, the Giants won, so Jameson happened.
Oh, is that what happens
I
with
don't know. Maybe.
So,
No wonder you need to charge your phone. You're
Yeah.
like, I just got some shots and my phone battery went dead.
My phone died.
Anyway, but the crazy thing is, this is the crazy part. It's not actually that crazy.
that was all
But it was the part that I went, oh, man. And I wish they deep dived into it, but they didn't.
Deep dive.
You used that term twice in this one.
Yep.
It's all about deep
Story.
diving. And it says, and one more thing.
And one more thing.
Candidates must pass the NASA Long Duration Spaceflight Physical.
What does
They
that
make
mean?
no other mention of the long duration
Okay,
spaceflight
this
physical,
would be-
but I want to know what that is because I doubt I would pass it.
No, my theory
Yes.
mainly would be your bone density
Right.
Ooh.
because you lose mass amounts of bone density when you're in space.
So if
because
you have brittle bone
you
syndrome,
lose
they're like,
muscle
"You're out."
mass, and it
Your
depletes your
muscles,
bones.
your muscles
as well,
pull
I
against
think.
your When I was
Right?
your muscles pull against your bones to be strong. So if your muscles aren't pulling against your bones, they're not keeping the bones like compressed.
Yes.
They're not like
Interesting.
I
So
learned
if
that.
you
Dropping
don't have good
fucking
bone density,
science.
I don't think you can survive that long
Yeah.
in space.
I would go out and say that the other one would be claustrophobia,
Claustrophobia, yeah.
which is, by the way, why I would fail. I have
Oh,
very
yeah,
dense bones.
absolutely.
Very dense bones.
Yeah.
Bones are fun. But claustrophobia.
Oh, I have. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's not full blown.
no, claustrophobia would absolutely be
My
one.
sisters used to
Yeah.
wrap me up in a blanket and leave me there, so I'm kind of claustrophobic too.
I'm sorry.
That blows.
You couldn't get out of the blanket?
No, but
They were
you ever been
origami masters. You haven't heard of the Krajewski sisters? The origami masters of the 1990s?
Wrap me up in a
Tom.
blanket and leave me there.
Tom, you're one of the most fit human beings I know. I have
thank you.
trouble thinking that you can't get out of a blanket.
Yes, I am the most fit and handsome human being.
I did not say handsome.
Yes, you did.
Nope.
He was like, I heard it. Allison, it's what we call subtext.
Tom, I have a blanket right here. I'm going to wrap you up
no.
in it.
Yeah.
It's your
My words.
kryptonite.
It is.
Blankenite.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I don't. That sounded like Allison there for a second. Yeah, no, I have what I sort of this mild claustrophobia. Like it hits me every once in a while, and it's really like
Elevators?
Oh, yeah, not elevators. Certain elevators, really slow elevators.
Oh, yeah, that freaks me out.
Because it makes me feel like, oh, this is fucking broken.
Yep.
Because this is the stupidest elevator in the world, and
Yeah.
it's not broken. So that's bad. Also, super crowded commuter train. Well, we talked about this when I went down the
Yeah.
super underground trains in London
Oh, yeah.
that are like the size of a fucking Tootsie Pop.
Those things.
a
And you gotta
Tootsie
get
Pop?
in. You gotta get in.
Do you mean a
them.
Tootsie Roll? Because at least those are the
I was gonna
same
say
shape.
roll, but then I was like, that's really small, so I bumped it up to Tootsie Pop. But then it didn't make sense.
A one, a two, a three. Yeah.
Crack. A
Yeah.
3. But anyway, yeah, so I have a little bit. But even sometimes they're, like we were driving down the back from Fresno. Heather's was from Fresno. We were driving back from Fresno, and right at the 110 over the Grapevine, it just got bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Over the Grapevine?
Yeah, it's called the Grapevine.
What's
It's
called the Grapevine?
It's the place right before you go you go down over the hill. Basically, you're going over the mountains and then coming down into Magic Mountain. It's called the Grapevine.
Okay, got it. I see where you're at.
Yeah, and it gets trafficy and all that stuff, but it got to a point where it was literally bumper to bumper and stop and go, and there was a lot more stop than go.
Right.
And I started freaking out. I had to roll the windows down. I had to move all the way over into the slow lane.
Stop drinking.
Yeah, I put my Jameson down.
Oh, man.
Honk honk, you know.
Wow.
What?
No, but it was crazy. So every once in a while, I get reminded that, oh yeah, I have a tinge of that. Like I have a really big problem with certain lines at amusement parks.
Yeah, I
Really?
get like that too in some lines
Yeah.
where I feel like I'm not allowed to go somewhere.
Right, yeah, where the cave, because it's like a lot of times they want it to be like a cave and then a turn, and you can't really see the line because it's a fucking long ass line. And so they're thinking if you don't show them the line and they turn a corner and they're like, oh, there's more line, but it must be just around that corner. But as a person
never is.
who's slightly claustrophobic,
Yep.
when somebody stopped in front of you and then people start lining up behind you
Yep.
and there's no exit, that's not cool.
I went when I was in Ireland over the summer. There were some castles that my mother and I visited, but you have to walk up
Yes.
these like tiny ass stone curved stairwells, and there were a couple people who were like, nope, not doing it, turned around. And I get it. I kind of was like walking up there and I was like, this is fucking freaky, but I just know if I keep going I will get out.
Right. That is the key, is to focus on the goal.
Yes.
But it's really like those aren't that bad for me if they're not super packed.
Yes.
Like
if it was super packed.
If it was super packed, like we went up to the Sacré-Cœur in Paris.
I mean Sacred Heart, Allison.
Oh, I don't know what you
But
mean.
it's this big sort of like cathedral castle thing.
Okay.
But there's a lot of places where everybody kind of goes like, get in your ant line.
Oh,
and you're gonna walk through these old turrets and round to the tops. And people were slowing and taking pictures. And I got to a point where I was like, I've seen it.
I'm done.
I got it.
Start crying.
Check.
You start crying.
I'm
So
done.
guess what? Not going to be an astronaut.
Yeah. No.
Or
a underwater knot. Whatever
a scuba diver?
No, scuba diving's cool. I can do scuba diving, and it's weird.
You wouldn't go in a sub. Yeah, subs freak me out.
Yeah.
Like 21, well, it's no longer 21 Leagues Under the Sea at Disneyland. It's now like the Finding Nemo ride or something like that. But yeah, that ride kind of freaks me out, even though you're literally 3 feet underwater.
Yeah, you're barely underwater. You're as underwater as you are when you're waist deep in a pool.
Yes, exactly. No, that freaks me out.
Yeah, because there's one at on Captiva. Not Captiva. What the fuck is that one? The Catalina. They do that on Catalina. Where there's actually a submarine.
Glass,
it's a glass, but it's not an underwater. But you go down into it, and it goes underwater. But it's just skimming the water. But you get far enough down, and it's got this glass bottom, and you can see stuff. But that one actually, I was like, I'm a little freaked out when we started. But then once I'm like, oh, I can see all this stuff, because like flying planes. When I'm flying planes, because those
flying planes,
like when I'm flying the plane, because those planes are really fucking small.
You meant flying as a verb, not as an adjective,
right? Yeah, not those flying planes, not the non-flying planes, but the planes that are flying.
Right.
Those ones I'm okay with.
Yes.
The non-flying planes, cars, horrible.
No aerodynamics.
No aerodynamics at all. Maybe with like a fin. But flying planes, because I'm in control of the plane.
You feel okay about it.
Yeah, never got claustrophobic.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that.
How are we doing on time? I feel like
one more. You're 37 minutes.
All right, one more.
Yeah. Oh, God. Which one? I feel now I've got to choose these.
Sophie's choice. Who's it going to be?
I'm going to do this one.
You chose incorrectly.
Did
you
I?
are a terrible friend. I have no idea.
I'm going back.
No, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't look at the stories.
The hypnosis health apps.
What?
That the
Start over.
The hypnosis health apps.
Okay.
The FDA won't do anything about.
There are hypnosis.
So think about it. All those like, remember back in like the 80s and the 90s, there were all those like stop smoking and get better at money. The audio tapes that you would listen to overnight. Well, I never even thought about the process of that being transferred into an app, but a lot of people have.
Oh,
awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there are all these. Well, it's completely unregulated by the FDA.
But what does it matter? Is it just someone talking to you in your ear?
No,
like us.
But it's an actual thing. Like you can do it, and people have actually started getting like
going crazy.
Basically, like one of the reviews said. Let me find this one review that was like crazy. So there's right now there are about 1,450 hypnosis style apps.
Wow.
On the thing on the the app stores.
And if you listen to them,
here we go.
like...
So this is one of the reviews. Ready?
Okay.
I'm not 100% certain what to say here, but halfway through, I just had the worst feeling ever. Like I was sinking, and I got really nauseous and had to stop. And it was over an hour ago, and I still don't feel right. Sluggish, disconnected somehow.
Oh, it's like a.
And another person,
what was that
wrote,
app for? Like
it was just a hypno. So a lot of these are for like wellness or like stop smoking. There's a lot of stop smoking ones or eat less.
Okay.
Like to curb your like sugar eating.
Right.
That's the thing. But somebody else said. I stopped in the middle of it because I felt I was being taken over. I felt negative energy entering my body. I deleted it immediately. I feel different, as if someone else is in control. I don't feel normal.
That is awesome.
Ew.
That is terrifyingly awesome.
Right?
Yes.
And the FDA can't really do anything about it because it's not like a medical device.
Right.
And so, but they've started this like one of these doctors was like, this is really bad. Like it's basically self hypnotherapy without a trained professional.
Yeah.
Well-
Okay.
Did you
everybody
guys hear
reacts
recently
differently
that there
about
was a
hypnotherapy.
teacher in Florida, a principal in Florida, who got fired because he apparently hypnotized 4 students. And apparently he had all like well wishes for it. It was like all good stuff. It was like helping kids get over something, but he did it completely outside of any sort of like parameters that he should have been under.
You mean like they were like, I'm having a real hard time with this
With anxiety
for
or
this
whatever,
test, and he was like, come into my office, look at this coin,
and he would
I don't think that's
or
how they do it
whatever.
these days.
But he would hypnotize them. But 4 of them died.
What? At least
Yes.
one of them died. Did 4 of them die, or did one of them? I know they were like suicide.
One of them
No.
is enough for this to be fucking weird.
That's
No,
why I'm-
one
yeah.
of that. I think one definitely committed suicide,
yeah. Oh
but
my
another
God.
one like got in a fatal car accident. They're like fucked up shit.
Yeah.
He did it to multiple students, and 4 of them had like fucked up experiences.
God, that feels like a fucking
So he-
great concept.
So they
for a
cut his
horror
pay
movie.
back a
no,
little
no,
bit.
no.
Just
No,
suspended him for a
he's
week.
suspended. He's suspended.
Oh, so
but
I-
like
Suspended forever, or
I no.
what's
Suspended,
the opposite of what's the
suspended forever means
is-
fired.
Right. Yeah.
So as
not that.
Last I heard of the story, he was just suspended while they looked into it.
Weird,
But like this is the thing. Like hypnosis is one of those weird.
It's a
I mean, I feel like if I was to sit down and listen to one of those apps, I'd be like, yeah, right, whatever. But if I sat down and
If
listened,
you wanna believe
like
it.
me, still, if I sat down and listened to it and was open to it, I'm sure it would affect me somehow.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the other thing too. Is like you think about it. Like forget the hypnosis side of it. It's like when you like. Even just meditate is the wrong word, but like sometimes. So I was used to do yoga a lot, and then every once in a while I'd be like, I'll just get back into it. Like it's it's fun, it's easy, it's an exercise, And so I like would Google like a quick half-hour yoga session on YouTube or something.
Right.
They all have that really cool, soothing music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just the act of lying down on the ground, having that soothing music going, and just getting ready to prepare to do yoga. It changes how you feel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should try this.
100% changes how you feel.
I use this app that Chris Hardwick introduced me to.
Yeah.
Actually,
Never
called
heard of
this guy. Called Pizizz, Pzizz, and it's a nap app.
Ooh, a nap app.
And
Nap app.
you can either use it to help you fall asleep at night, or you can have like a 20-minute power nap. But what it does is it plays soothing music,
Yeah.
and it talks to you, so you don't actually fully
Go to
fall
sleep.
asleep. You just kind of get into this like meditative state in your brain, and then after 20 minutes, it's like, okay, wake up, dung, and you wake up and you're like, ooh, I feel great.
Yeah.
So that I feel like that is a form of meditation.
And semi-hypnosis.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like you
exactly.
could see how these apps could make people feel completely different than the way they feel.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
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 Anyway, I find it interesting. I'm going to write a movie about a principal who hypnotizes his kids and they all
There you go.
die.
Just Google Florida.
Just Google Florida. I'll be like, which one of these horrible stories should I write a movie about?
Legitimately, just Google right now. Google Florida hypnosis and see what pops up.
Okay.
You might have to add principal,
This will
but
be your
let's
next
just try Florida
This
hypnosis
is your next movie poster, Alex. Alex is the principal.
or Florida hypnotize or something like that. What's coming up?
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Florida hypnosis. I'm gonna go to the news tab because there's
Okay.
a lot of hypnosis clinics in Florida.
Oh, hypnosis clinics pop up.
They all ended up dead.
They did?
What?
That is
All
literally
four?
that's literally what the title of this article from the Guardian. They
Are you
all ended up
serious?
dead. Anger lingers over students who died after
Told you
hypnosis.
they all died. 4 of them.
Wow, the fall ritual of homecoming.
That's terrible.
I don't
Yeah,
care
let's
about
not.
the fancy stuff. Just give me the facts, Jack. Crazy,
So,
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
Crazy.
Tom, what are you about to say?
it was something inappropriate.
Oh God, never mind.
You know what? That probably
means
a
it's time
perfect
to
time
end
to
the
end.
show.
All right.
All right. So everyone, please, if you don't already, follow us on Twitter at @halfhourhappyhr.
Correct.
So you can find out exactly when our podcast goes live
and
each
see
Monday.
exactly what that amazing poster looks like.
Oh yes, we're
Yeah.
gonna please, Alex, please tweet out the poster
I'm starring it.
because it's amazing. Send us emails and maybe we'll read them on the show. At halfhourhappyhourfans@gmail.com.
Correctamundo. And that's all you can do. But also,
That's all.
listen, subscribe on iTunes.
Please subscribe on iTunes.
Tell your friends.
Tell your coworkers, Kevin.
Yes, Kevin.
Kevin,
We're looking at you.
Don't just let them laugh at you.
Laugh with
while
you.
you laugh. Have them laugh with you.
Laugh with you.
Tell your coworkers to listen.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's edition of the Half Hour Happy Hour with Allison and Alex. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Alison Haislip.
And with us, as always, the Gallant.
Ooh.
I have created a word for you.
Gallant.
The Gallant.
Thank you.
Tom Super Volcano
thank you.
Krajewski.
Please don't hit the button too soon this time.
Okay.
How'd you? That worked.
It totally worked
Okay,
last
cool.
time.
Fuck.
Bye.